discussion stuff. So, feel free to hang or not, whatever.
Oh, you said in the text message you said everyone was required to be there.
Oh, well, I should have been more clear.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so you're good.
well, bye guys.
Bye. All right, Ava, you there?
Yes.
Hey, there you go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. This won't take long, but just as a quick agenda, our plan is I'm going to show you guys a video really quick, show you login information, direct you to lessons to watch. The lessons to watch are more for the newer staffers and the older staffers for reinforcement. And then there's a lot of videos for older staffers as well to kind of focus your attention towards different areas. And then at the end, we'll go over the documentation and, just some quick note taking that I want you guys to do to kind of document what you we're watching. So if you could just give us about 4 minutes, let's go ahead and watch this. And everybody can see the screen, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you may want to mute. If you're not muted, go ahead and mute so the sound doesn't come over.
Sometimes the unexpected happens. Sometimes it's ordinary. Sometimes it's extraordinary. But always it's disruptive, disappointing, and discombobulating. A broken camera, an erased SD card, a dead battery, a technology bug, an internet outage, a power outage, a rescheduled block day, a senior skip day, a snow day, a flood in the yearbook room, a flood of complaints, a flood of tears, a miscommunication, a misunderstanding, a mistake, a fractured friendship, a broken heart, a tragic loss, a difference of opinion, a difference of effort, a difference of implementation, a forgotten photo shoot, a forgotten assignment, a forgotten Secret Santa, an apathetic staff member, a late submission, a missed deadline, a case of insomnia, a case of senioritis, a case of divisiveness, an unprecedented pandemic, a shelter-in-place order, a closed campus, a halted season, a postponed prom, a canceled vacation, a delayed driver's test, a Zoom college visit, a drive-through distribution, a virtual classroom, a virtual graduation, a virtual workshop. Things happen, but we don't have to be undone by it, unraveled by it, undermined by it. No, we can flip it. We can spin it. We can pivot. And we can make the best of it. Plus, being able to pivot is a powerful trait. It's a life skill, an essential way of working and thinking and living that makes you resilient and resourceful and remarkable. It's a lifestyle, an empowering way of collaborating and cooperating and coordinating that makes you brighter and bolder and better. It's a life force, an invigorating way of living and growing and thriving that makes you smart and savvy and strong. It's not simple. Nobody would say that. It's not a no-brainer. Nobody would think that. It's not a piece of cake. Nobody would eat that. But it can ignite creative solutions, embolden grand ambition, and forge new opportunity. And the outcome can be surprising. You might discover the pivot makes things better, makes your theme better, makes your spread better, makes your book better, makes your staff better, makes you better. So, when your plans go awry, and your relationships get strained, and your progress gets halted, remember this: the pivot can make all the difference. And so can you. This isn't survival mode. This is thrival mode. The pandemic has been our teacher. 3 of its many lessons are these. Connecting, uniting, and being together matters. Caring, giving, and supporting each other matters. Preserving, remembering, and celebrating school life matters. That means the yearbook matters because the yearbook process and the yearbook product achieve all that. And that means your yearbook is pivotal. It's crucial. And so are you.
So just a quick comment, you know, and I guess it doesn't, we've all pivoted and we've all been struck by things over this pandemic. And going into my 20th year of teaching this year, I'll never forget my first semester. I spent the entire summer, my first semester of teaching, getting ready to teach 9th grade lit. I had done all the assignments and everything else, learned all the kids' names. We were 2 weeks into the semester and the assistant principal walked into my classroom and said we'd had a change of schedule, and they brought in an entire new group, and all of a sudden I was teaching 10th grade lit, which was fun, but I had to turn everything around and rethink how I'd done everything. And that ended up being one of the greatest classes I've ever taught. You know, just some wonderful personalities and people that I still keep in touch with to this day. And I carry that thought with me every year. And I think this pandemic, or I don't think, I know this pandemic has taught us all how to be flexible in this world. And, you know, I know the returning staffers can certainly attest to this. There's just something special about the book. And last year we sold more books than we've ever sold at Hillgrove. And this year I you know, plan for it to be the same thing. We've got 316 pages to fill regardless of what happens. We've got senior pictures, senior ads, and all these spreads to create regardless of what happens. Because at the end of the year, that's what they want, that the little pieces of consistency. And since the beginning of education and print media, the yearbook has just been there. They've tried to change it to digital so many different ways, but people just want the physical book. So it's our responsibility. We've got 22 of some of the best minds at Hillgrove to do this thing. So I'm absolutely excited about where we're going. So again, to go over the agenda very quickly, and I still get chill bumps when I hear that video, is I'm going to show you the login information, the login information for the virtual workshop, and you can access it however you want, whenever you want. Then we'll go over some key lessons and then just some quick documentation that you guys can do as you watch some of these videos. All right, so I am recording this and I'm going to send it back out, but if you can, write that down, screenshot it, take a picture of it, something of that nature. The website is georgiayearbookexpo.com, all one word. And then while most of the videos are free and accessible and you just click on it, some of them will have a login password, and that is now and forever, lowercase, all one word. It's just, they're all little 30, 40-minute videos. Some of them are 20 minutes. If you've been to New York or been to any other workshops, then it's that same sort of thing, just virtual, and you kind of pop in. Now, this website, the Georgia Yearbook Expo website, has amazing amounts of information to it. Let me get to it now. Hang on. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, hang on. Right before we started this meeting, like I was saying earlier, my internet went out, so I got to get to everything. So you'll log in, and this is what it'll look like. And up here on the top tabs are all of your different areas to focus upon. Now, what we're going to focus on is, I don't want to click back and forth too much, but we're going to focus on coverage, design, writing, and photography. So as far as coverage is concerned, there's 2 places I'd like you guys to look, especially the newer staffers, and that is More to the Story and Coverage Crash Course. So you go into here to coverage, click on it, and you just scroll down. And you've got More to the Story here, which kind of it forces you, it's a video that kind of forces you to really look deeper into some of the things that you're going to cover, from sports to academics. And then the other one is Coverage Crash Course, which is a great introductory video, because if you haven't done yearbook before, or you haven't thought much about yearbook, then this is the kind of video that will lead you in there and start to make you look at things differently. Obviously, returning staffers, once you're in yearbook for a semester, you don't even look at those pages like you did before. You just see things differently. You see it in terms of coverage. So those two videos there's you can see the links on them, 28 minutes, 31 minutes. So none of them are too terribly long. Then I want you to look at design. And I put 3 on here. The 2021 design trends are really cool to look at. Anybody can look at them, especially older staffers, because it was one of my favorite videos each summer, because it shows you what's in and what's hot and what people are kind of looking at. But 2 videos I want everybody to look at are Elements of Design and Good Design. So again, just to give you a visual reference, I'll scroll up here, go over to design. And we're looking at Elements of Design right here. And you can see on the Elements of Design, I mean, that's going to break down your white spacing, your internal margins, external margins, modules, folio tabs, copy, all of that very basic language that we all have to learn. And newer staffers, we speak in this language, so we've got to get that information kind of understood so we can have a common language. And then the other one was the 2021 design trends. And what was the other one? What was the other one I had mentioned? Good design. Good design is the other one that I want you guys to look at. And that one is right up here. And it just goes over, like, again, what good, I know I'm repeating it, but what good design is. And this is what really forces you to see those pages in a different way, from color to spacing to proximity, to type to photography and everything in between. And newer staffers, just to give it a quick context, we have a 316 page book, and we do it all from theme to design pages, photography, the whole 9 yards. Some schools come in and they can have templates, and you can just do what we call plug and chug and pull up a template, put your copy in there, put your pictures in there, and call it a day. But we do it all. And we do that on purpose, because it gives you so much more experience as you lead off into college and whatever area, whatever, part of life you're going to focus on. And if you do journalism, this will give you an incredible head start. All right. So I also, clicking on down, writing, which, when people join yearbook, not very often do people come in and say, hey, I want to write for the yearbook. Some do. A lot of them come in wanting to design or wanting to take pictures, which is great. But at the end of the day, the writing is so essential. I know the common phrase is, well, nobody reads the writing, but yes, they do if it's good. And if we don't have the writing, then we're missing easily 50% of what should be on that page. So writing is the who, what, when, where, and better questions, better answers. So again, to give you a visual, and I want to comment on one of these. So there's the who, what, when, where, just basic storytelling in a journalistic standpoint, getting all of your information. It's going to be certainly a challenge this year, because, for the immediate future, we're not going to be able to walk down to the social studies hallway and interview people. We're not going to be able to go down into the locker room and interview the football players, the baseball players, or whatnot. So, but we still have to interview them. So we're going to have to figure out what that's going to look like. But then also down here at the bottom is, no, where did it go? Better questions, better answers. There it is. If I had a quarter for every time a staffer, usually a younger staffer, comes back in the room and says something to the effect of, I can't get a good interview out of freshmen. Freshmen don't know how to answer questions. Or we can't put any copy on the wrestling spread because wrestlers don't know how to answer questions well. At the end of the day, if we're being humble and we're being honest, good answers come from good questions. So you've got to learn to develop the questions, and you will get the answers. But if you have a bad question, you're going to get a bad answer. You know, if you ask somebody 3 weeks after the game what they thought of the game, hey, how was the game? What'd you think of it? They have no idea what to say in that question. So you've got to learn how to phrase things and lead people in order to create a conversation, in order to get the answers that you want. So that is a crucial video that I want you all to watch. And it's very short, just 18 minutes, but it's got some great information. And then lastly, and even if you're not going to be a photographer, or that may not be your thing, or maybe you haven't done photography that much before, I want you to look at the Photo Basics and Photos in 5. Those are 2 great videos, because one of the most important things in your book that I've gained to understand over time is, if you're designing, you have to have some understanding of photography. I'm not saying you have to be, you know, an Alex Huff and go out there and take workshops in the summer. She's somebody on our staff, by the way, and take workshops in the summer and advance your skills incredibly. But you can't have no, you know, not any understanding of what a photographer does and what their capabilities are. But in the same way, photographers can't work independently from designers and copywriters. Everybody has to have some insight into what the other piece is doing in order to create that perfect spread. Otherwise, you're going to send a photographer out to take a picture for a spread that you want, and they're going to come back with the wrong picture because you didn't communicate to them clearly, and they have no idea what it is you're working on or what kind of the look is like. So it's very important for everybody to cross over those lines and kind of understand what everyone's doing. All right, so your requirements are pretty simple. I wanted to keep it simple, but I also wanted to have a little bit of documentation to make sure that you're kind of plugged in and you don't just click on the video and go over and do something else and then, you know, click off and not really retain any information. So I thought, well, let's just keep it simple. 2 to 3 sentences, bullets per video, typed up, you know, just kind of have a Windows or a Word tab open, jot down some notes. Obviously, you can go above and beyond 2 to 3 bullets. That's just kind of a minimum right there. But document some of that information, and don't document it for me, document it for yourself. So when we come back and we talk about this, you have some concept of what it was you watched. I want you to watch the mentioned videos above. So in terms of numbers, you're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 videos. I know that might sound like a lot, but you know, we've still got 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks until we see you all. So that gives you plenty of time to watch and rewatch some of these videos. And then I want you to choose 2 of your own. Anything that just kind of hits you and you think would kind of be cool, watch it. I will say this, you know, in life, we learn that if you do the minimum, you get the minimum. So, you know, if you go in there and just watch exactly what we say to watch and just do the exact 2 bullet points, okay, you did it, cool. And that's awesome, especially in the summer when you don't necessarily have to. But in your book, if you want, and older staffers could attest to this, sure, I'm sure, if you want to move up, if you want to make a name for yourself, if you want to be really comfortable and be really a central, integral part of the action, you got to go above and beyond. That's the only way in life we get there. And leadership positions are oftentimes given to those who really go above and beyond and try to, you know, try to just learn more information than the minimum is required. But again, I tried to keep it pretty simple because we are in a summer place right now. That's the end of that. You know, I'll click back to this little, the website up here. You know, they've got other stuff. They've got things about staff, which I follow some of